Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Nicole Testa Boston. I'm the Deputy Director at Tech, and I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us this Tuesday morning here in the central United States for a webinar talking to Brian Sweeney today about the construction photo documentation activities that he's got at jobsitevisitor.com. Before we get into the webinar and I introduce Brian, though, I just wanted to go over briefly how the GoToWebinar system works. You have a toolkit that is unique to you. You can minimize that at any time by pressing the orange arrow. That will remove it from the screen. And if at any time you want to use the toolbar, just go ahead and hit the orange arrow. That will then be pointing to the left, making sure that you have enough space on your desktop for it to open. You'll also have noticed that you're on a defaulted mute setting. That's due to the number of attendees that we have today. So we do encourage your participation and welcome your feedback, your comments, your questions, and you can do all of that through the Questions tab on that toolbar. So at any time during the presentation, if you've got a question or want further clarification, you can type those in using the Questions tab. Those will go directly to me, and as time permits at the end of the hour, I will forward and ask those questions to Brian, not revealing who's asking the question or from which company. So we'll keep this fairly anonymous and hopefully get your questions answered on this subject. Last but not least, we will be recording this session. I just received an error message, so I'm hoping we're going to be recording this session. But that will sync both the presentation PowerPoint templates as well as the audio, and we'll post it on the viatech.org website in the next day or two. So with that, I want to go ahead and thank Brian for joining us. Brian Sweeney is the CEO of jobsitevisitor.com, and after spending 10 years working in commercial construction, Brian founded jobsitevisitor.com, which is a cloud-based photo hosting service specifically designed for the construction industry. Brian was with us in, where were we, Chandler, Arizona this past year, and some of you may have met him there at the Tech conference. We've asked him to join us today and tell us a little bit more about his site. So with that, Brian, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Well, thanks, Nicole. We're going to spend the next hour talking about photo documentation and some of the new advancements in the industry. You can see here photo documentation has been going on for a long time. Gustav Eiffel had these photos commissioned for the Eiffel Tower when he was building it. Their construction took about a little over 2 years, and one of the interesting things about the Eiffel Tower was that Thomas Edison debuted his invention of the light bulb on it during the World's Fair in 1889. So, excuse me. The things that we're going to go over today we'll discuss the different types of job site photos that are taken on projects. We'll discuss how to develop a photo plan around those job site photos. We'll discuss improving the quality of the photos, the different camera equipment that's out there today, and we'll then jump into the hosting platform that we've developed and then answer any questions that you guys might have. So when we talk about the different types of construction photos, we've got pre-construction photos, and these are photos that are taken before you mobilize on a project. And it's important to document all your surroundings before equipment arrives and you start working on the project, just because there tend to be issues that surround projects at the end, depending on how buildings were affected or open space was affected and that type of stuff. So it's great to have good documentation before you get started on your project. This is basically answering the question of what the site was like before you got on it. Then you've got your progress photos, and the important thing about the progress photos is that you take them from the same location on a regular basis. Progress photos are not just random job site visits where you're taking photos randomly. Progress photos need to be something that you schedule on a weekly or every other week or every month, where you're taking photos from the same location. This is going to track your as-built schedule. Then you've got your underground photos. These are typically photos of utilities and pre-slab conditions. This is everything that you're burying and you're not going to be able to see down the road. Other types of photos you have are in-wall rough-in photos. These are photos that you'll take before you insulate and drywall your walls. With in-wall photos, some people want to take photos of every wall before they drywall. Other people will just take photos of critical walls that have plumbing and backing and that type of stuff. It's important to understand what the expectations are before you get going with your in-wall rough-in photos, because you can spend weeks taking these photos if you need to. Then we also have the above ceiling photos. These are photos that you'll take before you drop grid, and then you have typical documentation photos of RFIs, submittals, change orders, that type of thing. And then at the end of the project, a lot of people like to take final photos. So when you're developing a photo documentation plan, the first thing that you'll need to do is read the specifications. Everybody needs to be on the same page and understand what the deliverables are and how often you're going to take progress photos, what you're going to take photos of when it comes to underground and pre-slab photos and in-wall rough-in photos and all those things. So like anything that's spec'd, it's important to put together a submittal, get that approved so there's no, hey, I thought you were supposed to do this at the end of the project. In this submittal, you'll want to put together plans showing where you're going to take progress photos from, and these are photos that you'll take on a regular basis. Indicate how often you're going to take photos, the quantity of photos you're going to take, all those types of things, the camera you're going to use, so there's no surprises. Then one of the most important things with developing a photo plan is assigning responsibility. I see a lot of companies fail with their project photos when because they don't assign the responsibility to one specific person or a group of people. These people, need to understand that it's their job to go take photos, and you have to set expectations for these people. You have to make sure they understand how often they need to go take their progress photos, how many photos are going to be taken and that type of stuff. So it's very clear, and then most importantly, you need to hold people accountable. So if it's not getting done, something needs to change, and you need to get somebody on this task that can take the photos or understands what needs to be done. The other thing that people should start out doing is keeping their progress photos simple. You don't need to take a ton of photos, but you need to take photos on a regular basis. So don't get too carried away. Don't have people go take photos of every wall every week, but you'll want to make sure that they are taking photos on a regular basis from the same location, and it's going to provide you a lot of great information if it's done properly. So when it comes to photos and improving the quality of them, it's important to understand how your camera works. People need to spend some time learning how the camera that they have on site works. Typically, people are using the point-and-shoot cameras, and focusing these cameras is pretty simple. You want to make sure you're on auto. You're holding the button down, making sure everything is in focus. There's really no reason with today's equipment that photos should be out of focus. The other thing is with exposure, I see a lot of backlit photos that are dark silhouettes, and unfortunately in construction you're taking a lot of photos in dark areas, and it's important to use the flash whenever you can. Framing is also a critical part of the photo composition. It's sometimes hard to tell the whole story with the photos, so it's important sometimes to take multiple photos. And what I'm when you're documenting something, what I mean by that is you're taking a photo of a window detail. You may take a establishing shot of the elevation, zoom in, take a closer shot of the actual window, and then take a shot of the detail. So those three photos together will tell a story. You'll also want to make sure that you've got your date and time setting correct on your camera. I can't tell you how many times I see the date and time settings that are incorrect. And this is important because a lot of this information is transferred into the metadata of the image. And if you've got the wrong date and time on all your photos and you've got 5,000 photos, it's a kind of pain. You'll also want to use the date stamp if you have that option on your camera. And it's important to also ID the photo with the location and description of where it was taken and what it is of. And we'll talk a little bit more about how Job Site Visitor makes that easy. So when it comes to camera equipment, there's a lot of choices out there on the market today, and it's constantly changing. When I recommend cameras to people, the most important thing for a construction camera or buying a good construction camera is making sure that it takes good photos in low light. And I found that in today's market, the Canon S95 does the best job. For this, it's a typical point-and-shoot camera. It's about $350. It takes awesome pictures in low light. It has a really wide aperture, which basically lets a lot of light in when you're in a dark room. It's got an image stabilizer, which helps make sure that your photo is focused and not blurry. It's also got some great, the auto setting takes great photos. Just leave it on auto and you'll be really happy. But it also has full manual controls like a SLR camera, like a big professional camera that people can play with a little bit, and it does take great HD video. Now when it comes to iPhone and tablets and those types of cameras that are built into the your phone or your tablet, notice that they're extremely poor in low light conditions. They just take really bad photos. They're really grainy, typically blurry. So I don't recommend people use that as their primary construction photo tool, just because you're going to end up with a bunch of really bad photos if you're taking them in low light conditions. If you're outside, they take great photos. If you don't have a camera, you forgot your camera in the trailer, it's a great option to use if you need a photo or if you need to take a picture of something, but I wouldn't use it as your primary camera yet. These are getting better, but for now, still recommend having a point-and-shoot camera on your project. Some other good cameras to check out, the Nikon P7000 and then the Panasonic Lumix. These are all great cameras that take great pictures in low light conditions, and that's really what you're looking for on a job site. So we'll jump in and talk a little bit about Job Site Visitor. Job Site Visitor is a photo hosting website that makes it easy to organize, manage, and share construction progress photos. It's simple, it's easy to use, and it really provides a secure archival and sharing platform for your project's photos. The other thing that makes it different from other photo hosting platforms out there is that it's specifically designed for the construction industry. So we're integrating plans, tracking time-lapse, doing a lot of cool things like that you're not going to get from another photo hosting website. So we'll just jump right into a demo now, show you some of the features. Bear with me while I switch over to our website. So if you go to jobsitevisitor.com, this is what you're going to see. We've got some links here where you can learn more about the service, watch a demo. We'll go ahead and log in with our username and password. Everybody needs to create a username and password to get into the system. That's going to take them into their projects. This is where you can look at your current projects that are ongoing. You can also look at your archive projects. So by clicking on a project, it's going to take you into that project, and you'll notice immediately that this project is branded with a contractor's logo. It's got the contractor's colors. It has some logos from the project participants. This happens to be the owner or the architect. We've got some descriptions of the project and then a rendering. So this is the main project landing page. Then if you click over on the Photos tab, this is going to take you into your weekly photos, and this is where you can jump through and see all the photos that were taken that specific week. In this example, there was 100 photos that were taken, or a little over 100 photos. So you can jump through and look at the photos that way. There's also a play all feature, so if you click that, it's just going to automatically advance the photo to the next image. We have information down at the bottom of the photos. It shows when the photo was taken, the date and time, who uploaded it, the upload date and time. So that's kind of important. So if there's a discrepancy between the dates and times, you can see these photos were taken on 9/3 and uploaded a couple days later on 10/2. You can also look at the description if they've added a description for the photo. You can look at the picture type. These happen to be miscellaneous and point photos. If it's a point photo, it's going to add the point location and then any folders that it's been dropped into. So we'll stop that. You can also grab more information about the photo by clicking on the Info button. If you want to take a better look at it. You can also share this photo. And what this does is lets people grab the link. So if you need to embed this photo into another program, a blog, or anything like that, you can pick the size of the photo you want, copy the URL here, and embed it into where you need it. You can also email this photo out. So you can just type in the recipient's email, add your comments, it'll attach the photo, and you can send it out. You also have complete access, if you're a full user or administrator, to save the photos off the site. So you can save the original, or you can save the large or small version of that photo. The nice thing about this is it's going to come down with all the original metadata. So what goes up into our system comes back down. And so people don't need to attach these photos to emails and send them out for everybody. They can just send out this link. People can look at the photos. If they need to grab something for any reason, they can just save it right off onto their desktop. And then I happen to be logged in as an administrator. You can see I've got the admin tab here. That gives me an edit feature, so I can edit the photo if I need to add a description or add it to a folder. It's really quick. I'm going to cancel that. So one thing about our service is we also give you great images online. And what we have is a deep zoom feature that lets you drill really deep into your photos without having to download the original file. So it works like Google Earth does. When you drill into the area, it'll load that image. So we can drill really deep into images. You can pull back out. You can take it full screen. So it's really easy to find and get a better view of what you're looking at. And the better the image and the bigger the image, the better the deep zoom feature works. So I'll show you our current plan viewer. We're excited because we're working at basically we got our new plan viewer turned on. This is our current old plan viewer where you can click on the point. It's going to open up all the photos that were taken from that location. But last night we turned on this new beta plan viewer, and what this does is lets you also drill into your floor plan. You can click on point and then see all the photos from that location, and we sort it in chronological order so you can see progress from start to finish by just clicking on that point. Same functionality as before. Then you can jump back to your plan viewer, and these little orange dots then show photos like an agent, so you can actually drag and drop random photos onto your plans. So that happened to be a landscape photo. So if you're looking for a photo in this area, it's really quick. Okay, this was the sidewalk that was here. So you can also get that information off these plans. Then you can jump to different floors, so you can have different floor plans. Clicking on any of these points. Actually, that one only has one photo assigned to it. Go back here. This happened to be the kitchen in this area. So you can see how easy it is to navigate around and find what you're looking for. What happens here is, your photos are identified by the floor, by the exact location, by the date and the time. So all your photos are completely organized with a ton of information, making it easy to find what you're looking for if you ever need to go back and deal with a claim or find a photo that was taken, on the second floor. It makes it really easy. Then along with the plan viewer, we have a great search functionality. And what you can do here is identify the type of photo that you're looking for. So if I needed to find some masonry photos, I can search in the masonry folder, and then I can filter down the weeks. So I may only need to look between these weeks. And when I hit search, it's going to pull up all the photos that had anything to do with, or that were tagged as masonry photos. And then by clicking on any of these photos, you can get a bigger view and find what you need quickly. And then you can save that photo off or get more information on that photo. And you can reset the search by hitting the reset button. If you wanted to pull up all the point photos that were taken from this point, hit search, and there they are. So you can also search on keywords in the description, who it was uploaded by, also the picture date, that type of stuff. So the search functionality is a great way to find what you need quickly. So those are functionalities that users will see. Now, if you're an administrator, these are the option or the functionality that you'll see. You'll be able to upload photos. To do that, it's really easy. Click the upload photo button. Click upload. This shows you how many photos you have left to upload. So there's 1,000 in this package. They click upload, select the photos they want, and hit open. They're going to upload into the system. Then those photos are all going to end up in a tagging section. So this is our batch tagger. This is where, let me go to a different project that has some photos in there that have been uploaded. So we're in the tag photo section. So you can see there's some photos in here that are ready to be tagged. I can tag them as a point photo, select the point, drop them into a folder, type a description. I can tag multiple photos with all that information. But we've just released a new drag and drop tagger that makes that whole process even easier. And this is where it gets kind of exciting. What we do is we show you the floor plan. You can switch between floor plans if you need. Then you can drag this thumbnail onto the point and release it. it's going to show that it's a point photo. We're going to use the camera date. I'm going to drop it into a folder here. I'm going to add a description and hit save, and I've just tagged that photo. Then I can also jump to another plan, drag that image, drop it in the location that it was taken from. I'll tag it to a folder here. And save it. Then when we're back on the beta plan viewer, you can see that that photo got dropped right there. So we have a couple little bugs here that we're going to work out, but that's the functionality of this new feature, is that you'll be able to drag and drop all your photos onto the plan exactly where it's taken from. And this is great because you can, actually let's go back into the admin. Oops. Sorry, we're back in the tag photos. You can really get precise with this. So you can drill really deep into your floor plan and then drag that image right into the location where it was taken from. So that's one of the great tagging features that we have. It's really quick and easy to tag photos. You don't have to change the name, write the date in the title, add a description like this was taken off grid line 5, you know, near the bathroom. You just find where that location is and drop it right into place, and we'll tag it to that exact location. And you can do this with any type of image. It doesn't have to be plans. It could be, you know, rendering image or anything like that. You just upload your plan into the system and drop them into place like that. So the other thing that we let people do is create a custom folder structure. Let's get that back into a different project here. That was kind of a test project that we've been working on. So if you're in the admin section, click on the folders. This is going to set up, you can customize your folders. We've got these organized by specification section. That way when you're tagging photos, if it's a picture of a window, you just tag it as a window. Or if it was in area A, tag it in area A. You can set up your folders however you want. You can edit them, make them inactive, do whatever you need to do on your folders. Then we've got a point management section, and this is where you drag and drop points onto your plans. These are progress photo points. So if I wanted to add a new point right here, I just drag it into place, label it, hit OK, and then that point gets saved in that location. Now, down the road, if I needed to rotate it, I can rotate it. Or if I decide to turn it off, I could just hide it, and it'll turn it off. And that's what these red points are. It's easy to flip between plans to do this. Same type of thing. You just drag it into place and drop it. So it's easy to set up your points. And then with our new tagger, it's really easy once you've taken photos from that location to just drop it into place. So go back to the admin tab here, show you some more functionality that we have in here. Uploading plans is simple. Click Upload Plans, name your plan, click Upload. The file type currently must be a JPEG. We're working on a converter that will convert PDFs on the fly, but we also do offer free project setup. So if you do purchase a subscription with us, will set up your projects and upload your plans and help with all this stuff. But it's pretty straightforward and easy. Same thing with uploading a rendering. One of the nice features that we do have when it comes to mobile devices, we have a mobile uploader, which we give you this email address. You copy that, you add it to your contacts list on your phone as maybe photos for your project. When you're out taking photos, you basically take your photo, type in a short description, this was this issue, and then you hit send, and you can email that photo into our system, and that photo will then have the description that you typed in the subject or the body of the email. So we'll process all of that, and it'll be waiting to be tagged. So if you're out with your camera phone, you can upload photos into the system. Doesn't matter the device. Don't have to install any apps or any of that stuff. So that's a way to get photos off your device into the system. We also have a page branding feature here where you can select the different colors you want. I'm not going to change the colors here. It's really simple. Then you can also change the logo by uploading a new one. Just click upload, find the logo, we'll process it, resize it, do all that stuff so it looks nice. And then same thing with the ads down here. So you can change your ads. You control the ads, which is nice, so you could even sell them and maybe pay for this, the subscription that way to suppliers. As far as changing your project information, you can do all that. You can change your start dates. You can add a description, put your project name there, put the address there. This is all the stuff that shows up on your project page. You can also make your project public or private. So we were looking at a private project, so I'm going to turn this on and make it public for a few seconds here. And what this does is allows the public to come in and see this project. So if I copy this link and send it out or link it into my website, people from the public can actually access it and get to it. They can also enter their email address if they want to get email updates each week when new photos have been uploaded. So for some people, sharing projects publicly or photos publicly is fine. For a lot of our clients, they want everything locked down and secure behind our encrypted security system. So you can basically have it both ways. If you want to keep it private, you can keep it private, or if you want to open it up public, and then you can also share with Twitter and Facebook that way. So that's as simple as flipping the switch over here. So I'm going to turn this back for them. We'll keep this private. Changing the project status from current to archived takes it out of that current project section and puts it in the archive project section when you're on your projects. So jump back. As far as the other features we have, you can edit your plans and you can edit your renderings. That's just basically changing the name, making it inactive, or making it active. So go back here. And renderings are the same way, so it's easy down the road if you need to change your rendering out and use a different one. This one happens to be the active one. So let's jump back and we'll take a quick look at a couple different projects that are using this service right now. So you can kind of get a look and feel of the different types of projects. This is a new overpass that's being built here in Denver, actually. So the most recent photos show a lot of dirt work. This one happens to be a public project, and I'll show you how that works. So the city of Denver has actually integrated this with their website. So when you click on this link here, it actually takes people onto the public side of the website. You can see they're not logged in as administrator. And if you're looking at photos, you don't have the options to save the photos. You can just look at them. So that's how that public-private project works. If we go back, this is an archive project. This was a project in Golden that was using the service, and they had quite a few photos that were taken. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the old plan viewer. Still getting used to this. So this is the new plan viewer, so you can really navigate around and then see how this all works. This is a good series of photos taken of the elevator shaft, so you can see foundation. And this is a great way to track critical activities. So, you know, elevators, equipment rooms, mechanical, electrical, these are all things that should be taken on a photo. You should take photos on a regular basis. This is the electrical room. So that's an example of your underground photos. So that should give everyone a pretty good idea of how the service works, and I think we should just take the next few minutes and open it up to questions.
Great, thank you, and we do have quite a few questions. Let's see, is there a way to automatically import EXIF data?
If it's attached to the file, we keep all of that information, and we would just need to probably work with the client to display it, and that's something that they should just reach out to us, because all of that information does come in, and we capture all of that metadata.
Okay, can you handle panorama? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, they should just reach out to us, and we can discuss that in a little more detail.
Right, and Brian is showing right now his contact information so folks can follow up with him directly too. Can you handle panoramic photos like you would see on a real estate site?
Yeah, we have been playing with that. Let me switch back here real quick, and I'll show you how that works. We don't have that kind of 3D curvature viewer. However, when that image comes up into our weekly viewer, you can zoom in and look at each wall. So this was taken with a panorama lens. So you can see each wall. We just don't have a viewer currently that does the 360, but yes, we can. You can upload panorama photos into it, and we do. That is something that's on our added feature list that we're going to be looking at adding. The other thing I was going to show was there's an app for a 360 panorama that people should check out. Lets you make panoramas with your iPhone.
Very cool.
Mention that. 360
Thank you.
panorama. Okay.
Let's see. Can job site visitor be run on a private website behind a firewall with high security? Like
yeah,
most of the companies on this call, probably.
Yeah. For large companies, it does make sense for them to have this service installed, on their servers in their data center. And yes, it is set up to do that. And they should just reach out to us, and we can discuss how that works. But yeah, the platform is built to do that. There's some maintenance agreements and that kind of stuff that we need to put in place with them. But yeah, we can absolutely do that.
How are you adding the locations? Are you working with any geocoding?
So we started looking at that, and all the prototyping that we did with it, we found that it was extremely inaccurate. A lot of the devices, camera cards that do the geostamping, unless you're using, $10,000, $20,000 Trimble devices, are pretty inaccurate, especially when you get inside a building. So what we've decided to do is use that drag and drop functionality that's going to provide us with XY grid on that floor, and then down the road we're going to add basically a latitude-longitude correction to that, so we'll be able to export really accurate geocoding information on where that photo was dropped.
Are the dots that bring up the individual picture pop-ups manually inputted?
So this is the information that has to be typed into the fields. I'm trying to. Can you repeat that question one more time?
Are the dots that bring up the individual picture pop-ups manually inputted?
No.
Okay.
They are located when that photo is dropped on the plan. So each one of these dots appears when an image is dropped on the plan in this tagging section. So anytime I'd take this thumbnail and drop it into the location where that photo was taken from, a dot appears. So you can zoom in, get a really accurate location, and then drop that photo onto that location. So that's how those dots appear. Yep.
Gotcha. When photos are taken at the same location, are you changing the color to identify the photo? For example, in pre-construction versus construction versus the finished photo?
We've talked about doing that. One thing that we recommend, we're not currently doing that, to answer the question. One thing that we recommend people do is have a foundation plan, maybe a pre-construction plan where they have all their pre-construction photos on that plan, or all their underground utility photos on that plan, or if it's like above ceiling stuff, have the reflected ceiling plan there where you're dropping the photos. But we have discussed changing the color coding of the dots and of the points. So it's something we're looking into, but currently we're not doing that, and we recommend that people drop the photos on the plans that they're associated with. So if it's foundation work, it goes on the foundation plan. If it's first floor finishes, it's on the first floor plan. If it's above ceiling, it's on the reflected ceiling plan. So.
Okay, this one is a multiple choice question.
Yep.
Are you ready? What is the most common reason for documenting construction? A, monitor progress against schedule. B, record for possible litigation needs. C, QA/QC during construction. D, record for post-construction needs, or E, keep public informed. And I might just go with F, all of the above. But
I would say
I guess
F.
I want to know what the most common is.
I would say, so F, all of the above would be the most common. I think people take photos because of the fear of litigation. And I think that they're used most for marketing and promotional.
Yeah.
But I think they're most valuable for tracking the progress and tracking the as-built schedule and documenting that, because that is really, at the end of the day when everything settles out, wherever it settles out on your project, whether you had a great project or an okay project or you had a lot of problems on your project, you're going to want to turn to that as-built schedule and say, this is exactly when we were in this area and this is how long it took to start and stop these activities.
Great. What types of construction projects are most likely to use this type of service, and which are least likely?
So we built the service and the subscription packages to accommodate any type of construction, whether it's a home remodel project to small, medium-sized construction to large construction. We've noticed most of our projects are in the $20 to $100 million range right now, but we're pretty new, and we expect a lot of commercial construction, new commercial construction to use this service, but I also think it could explode in the residential arena also. So primarily right now, commercial construction, that seems to be where the projects have the manpower to take the photos and and the need.
Okay, I think we have about 15 more questions, so I'll try to.
That's great.
This is I think our most popular one to date in a few years. So great stuff here. Is there any API for accessing? I'm sorry. Is there any API for accessing photos and metadata provided by job site visitor?
Yeah, we do have an API. Our first API that we put into place was a single sign-on feature and a way to create projects when other projects are created in other systems. We can discuss putting together an API to pass photos and metadata through to different systems. So we haven't developed that out, but the system is definitely designed to do that. We just haven't had a client come to us with that need yet. But we have put together single sign-on APIs.
Okay, thanks. Who or what position, job responsibility is it usually to take the photos? Your experience.
It's best if a project engineer or intern does that, who's involved on the project, that's on the job site, that understands the technology and the camera and then the tagging. I don't think it's I don't think superintendents should be given this responsibility. They're out on the project every day. They know what's going on. I think it's better for somebody that's in the trailer or in the office that's visiting the job site once a week to be taking these photos. Not to say that superintendents shouldn't be, taking photos when they need to, but I don't think they should be in charge of the daily walks. They walk the site every day. I'd give it to an engineer that's in the trailer 90% of the time and let him go out once a week and walk the site.
Okay, someone wants to see your contact info again. Could you flash that screen up?
Yeah.
And the question, is there a plan to filter by points on the plan view? For example, if a photo is tagged to multiple folders, can you display only the ones that are tagged to HVAC or plumbing instead of all of them?
Yes. Like I said, we turned that feature on late last night and tweaked it early this morning. There is a whole filtering section that is going to be added to that, where people will be able to filter by week and filter by folder exactly. So maybe you have a whole bunch of stuff tagged to above ceiling, you filter above ceiling, that shows your above ceiling photos. So that's where that's headed. And we should have some of that stuff turned on in the next few weeks, we're hoping.
What about using webcams?
Yeah, I forgot about our webcam feature. We do integrate with webcams, and yeah, they might have seen that webcam tab. So we have a webcam on this project. It's kind of been buried. It was looking at the foundation. Can you see that it is live streaming webcam?
Well,
there's
not a lot of movement on it, but if the wind blows, maybe.
Yeah, but yes, we do integrate with webcams. This happens to be just a basic over-the-counter webcam. Sorry, I don't know. Sometimes the connection may drop out. There's some movement, but we can also integrate with high-power webcams, all that stuff. So we are set up to do that.
Do you have a service where you go and take the photos for us?
No, in Denver, I'll do some of that just because that's where we're located. This is primarily designed for either contractors to use it as their own tool or for construction photographers anywhere to use it. So I would recommend finding a construction photographer or photographer in the area that understands your needs and have them use our platform to do that. There are some services that I'm sure everybody's aware of that does that. What I've noticed is that they're extremely expensive, and you can hire somebody full-time to take photos on your job site for the amount of money it sometimes costs to have these other third-party services come on site. But sometimes, for certain projects, that's important. The nice thing about our system, a third-party photographer can use it, your superintendent can use it, anybody who's on the project can then be uploading photos into the system. So you can add a third-party photographer in your area, but no, we don't have the third-party photographers. We are looking at building a network of photographers so people can find people in their area if they want some more choices on third-party photographers. So I'd be curious to hear what if people think that that's a need for them.
Is the project level pricing posted on your website current?
Yes.
Which I guess kind of goes along with another question here somewhere. Is the cost based on a monthly pricing or per project? Or both?
So it's per project, and sorry, let's just get on that page. I'm sure people always want to know how much it's going to cost. So we have free to large projects and all the way up to corporate projects. The subscription size is based on how many photos per week you're uploading. And then we also have a storage limit on that. So if you're on, let's say, most people are in the medium to large packages. Medium is 100 photos a week. It gets you 25 gigabytes of storage. It's approximately 5,000 photos. We store and host everything for 8 years. And to have all of that for your project costs $500. And that's a one-time fee. So it's not monthly. If you do start going over that or need more than the packages that we have here, we can provide a custom package or a corporate package. And
so contact Brian if you'd like more info on pricing.
Yeah.
Have any of your customer projects supplemented the photos with laser scanning or high-definition surveying to add geometric data for the user? And a kind of similar question is about future plans for integrating with 3D models.
Yeah, so we haven't had that a client do that yet. We would want to talk with whoever is interested in that and find out, what their needs are and make sure that what what we have would work with that, but we haven't done that. We'd want to understand kind of their needs more and why they want to do that. And, you know, it is something that we could discuss for sure.
Okay, can you export the photo library at the end of a project for turnover to the client on a CD?
Yes, we do offer that, and we are in the process of building basically a desktop executable file that will provide the same functionality that you see today on that. But we do offer the photo library to be delivered on a CD or flash drive or storage device, depending on the size of the library at the end of the project. And there's some additional cost to that, but it's relative to what you're seeing on the actual package price, depending on the storage device we need to send them. So we can do that. And the other part, we do host this for 8 years, so it's always accessible.
Great. Yeah, this last question was, I think, just answered. Do you have a portal for downloading the databases to a client for their historical records, or do they have to come to the site? So you have options.
Yes, yes, and those options are getting better and better because we are looking at having, you know, a complete program that would run just like, you know, it does on the website, but it would be running on your desktop without, you know, having to be connected to JobSite Visitor. So.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Brian. We really appreciate you presenting this to us. I want to remind everyone we'll hopefully get the recording on this. If not, I'll ask for a copy of the PowerPoint slides. Since I did get a slight error message at the beginning of this, but then it seemed to start recording, so I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to be successful. And just want to remind folks, next week we're going to have our member-only webinar for FIATech members highlighting the work we're doing around information management. So if you're a FIATech member, your company is a FIATech member, please plan on joining us next week. And then on November 1st, our next one will be real-time interoperability across multiple disciplines and systems and the power of iModels. And John Sannons from Bentley Systems will be presenting on that. So once again, thanks a lot, Brian, for spending the hour with us, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
Okay.